Hello and welcome to the Rusted Brush. Today, I'm going to show you my custom warband for the upcoming game, Trenchcrusade. If you haven't heard of Trenchcrusade, it's a skirmish game that takes place in the alternate history in the year 1914, where heaven and hell are very real. When this video goes up, the Kickstarter will be finished, but don't fret because you'll be able to get the STLs later down the line, and the rules are free on the website as well. Now I did mention that they have STLs for the warbands, and they're great, but I wanted to make something a bit more custom and unique with my narrative attached to them. So I want to start by going over the lore of my warband. I call them the eternal nomads and boyars of the Great Steppes. The idea is that this warband is made up of Tatars, Cumans, Mongols, and Slavs all working together to face demons in the Great Steppes. The eternal nomads don't just fight to survive, they see themselves as the steppes' last line of defense against hellish invaders, driven by duty and divine purpose. The steppes are vast, harsh, and unforgiving, and my warband reflects that. These warriors have adapted to an eternal struggle, embodying both the beauty and the brutality of their homeland. Currently, there isn't any lore for this area of the world in Trenchcrusade, so it felt like a good place to make my own sort of narrative for a unique warband. Now I want to go over my inspirations here before showing more of the warband and talking about individual models. I generally like to have a good plan by making a collage of different visuals for my projects, and I want to show them and explain them to you here. Now, of course, a huge influence is the historic nomads from this area of the world. In specific, the Kipchak or Cuman armor with the face masks were a great source of inspiration. The Kievan Rus or Novgorodian style of armor is also fairly similar too, and the pointed helmets make a very distinct look. I really like the chainmail veils that cover the face as well. On the topic of Kievan Rus, the bogatirs of Slavic legend are also a huge inspiration. The bogatirs are essentially the Eastern equivalent to the knights errant, romantic depictions of knights similar to the Knights of the Round Table kind of deal. I took inspiration from the catacomb saints and their armor. These were the bodies of ancient Christians that were in the catacombs of Rome and used as depictions of saints. There's something hauntingly beautiful about skeletons adorned in gilded armor, an unsettling blend of reverence and decay that fits the world perfectly. Keeping with the visual of skeletons, it made sense that my warband would be Eastern Orthodox, and you'll sometimes see at the base of Orthodox crosses a skull. The skull represents the skull of the first man Adam, as Christ was crucified on Golgotha, where Adam was buried. You also see a lot of ossuaries in Greek monasteries due to the terrain, but they also serve as a reminder of death to come, a memento mori. And the last source of inspiration came from the artwork from an obscure video game called You Are Empty. These undead Soviet soldiers have a fairly striking visual, and I think they have a good tie-in with the early 1900s look that the Trenchcrusade has. My warband isn't Soviet, of course, but the hat they wear, which is called a budanovka, was inspired by the bogatir's helmet, so another way to tie the visuals together. Now after showing you my inspirations, let's take a closer look at the models. I'm following the warband rules and troops for the trench pilgrims, so I'll refer to their roles in the warband as such. Let's start with some of the basic troops, the Eternal Warriors. They'll be counting as trench pilgrims. In my warband, even the basic troops were made from ancient warriors who have been blessed with extreme longevity. The Eternal Warriors stride into battle with ancient confidence. Their skeletal forms are a chilling reminder of their eternal service. This warband was once a massive army in the medieval period, but as time has gone on, the warriors have fallen and their numbers did not get replaced quick enough. They still get occasional recruits looking to be blessed in the steppes with eternity. These recruits wear gas masks or other helmets to hide their non-skeleton visage, as the ancient warriors that are in the ranks are proud to show their ancient visage and armor. Moving on to other troops, we have the Rasa 4. These are counted as stigmatic nuns for gameplay purposes. These are ancient nuns who have elected to fight due to the shortage of recruits. Their large steel helmets are not only protection, but help keep their broken skulls together. Now it's on to elites, and to start, this is the last bogatir. They count as a war prophet. This is the leader of the warband, a living eternal saint who united the nomads and Slavs to fight demons in the steppes. The last bogatir isn't just a leader, they're a legend. Each step they take on the battlefield is a story etched into the annals of the steppes. They are an inspiring force to see in the battlefield, even amongst the eldest warriors. Next is the Schema Nun. She counts as a castigator for rules purposes. The superior and highest ranking for a nun to reach. She wields a two-handed sword in combat, but she's also in charge of keeping and writing down the history of the battles they fight. Her storytelling and chants keep all the members of the warband motivated. And lastly, we have the iconographer. Rules-wise, they're counted as a communicant. The iconographer, as the name suggests, creates icons for the church, but has other important tasks. They act as a living nomadic monastery, carrying the fallen warriors' skulls and wielding the banner of the Warband. They work closely with the schema nun to great effect to protect each other, but also for masses. The banner they carry is more than a symbol. It's a rallying cry. When it waves in the wind, it's as though the spirits of the fallen rise to fight again. And that's the Warband so far. I purposely haven't painted 2 warriors so that I can make a video on how I painted them. I'd love to hear what you think of my Warband and their lore. Drop a comment below. If you have your own Trench Crusade Warband, let me know about it too. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care, everyone.